My name's Tom Pye. I'm the set designer for the Royal Ballet's production of Cinderella. Cinderella was first performed in 1948, choreographed by Frederick Ashton. It's become a very important piece for the Royal Ballet. It's been about 30 years since there was a new production. There's a lot of anticipation around this. Wendy Soames owns the rights to Cinderella, and she performed it, and she knows the full history of the whole production. Wendy wanted a production that was completely modern, yet celebrated the tradition and the great choreography. We met in Wendy's garden, myself, the video designer Finn Ross, and the costume designer Alexander Byrne, and just talked about the piece, talked about the choreography, the music, and the influences, and Wendy filled us in on all the history of the show and how many times it was done and how different designers had approached it. And little by little, as a group, we sort of pick up ideas and start talking about those and things that got us excited. And I tend to do a lot of research, and I sort of spiral around researching all sorts of things and just slowly narrow things down. But I started out looking at fairy tales, particularly in illustrations, in children's books, Arthur Rackham and things like that. I feel like the whole approach is hopefully taking the existing choreography but turning the context on its head. For example, Act 1 has traditionally starts out in Cinderella's home, and I wanted to sort of flip that on its head and have us remain in Cinderella's home, but for each season to come in and sort of slightly destroy the space. So spring comes in, autumn comes in, and with each apparition, the entire room transforms and little pieces of it break away and crack apart, and little by little the room is destroyed by nature. In this space here, things are sort of tested and put together, and it gives all the technicians from the Opera House the chance to come and comment and see what they're going to be dealing with when it actually moves into the building. Behind me, you're seeing the facade of the palace, and I really wanted to play with scale, and this idea of flowers and nature seemed very potent with the idea of magic and fairy tale. I've been talking with Emma, the painter, in great detail about how to make it not look real, but make it look almost like an architectural drawing. And then surrounding that will be oversized flowers and gilded flowers and grasses, like a meadow. For the palace itself, I looked at all sorts of buildings and went visiting a lot of buildings, which was lovely. I ended up being mostly influenced by Waddesdon Manor, which is pretty much what you're looking at, but with a few cheeky additions and changes and subtractions. I also went to a beautiful chateau in France, and a lot of the cupolas and the top and the details on the roof come from that chateau. So it's a bit of a magpie collection of beautiful chateaus and country houses. Everything's painted to look like stone, but it's actually all made of skin ply over a metal framework. And then really all the magic happens with the paint department, with lots of layers of texture and layers of paint to give the impression of either stonework, or with this it will be a slightly parchmenty feel, but with a mixture of 1 foot in reality and 1 foot in the architectural drawing. Colour is important for the show because it's about transformation and movement. So Act 1, I've deliberately kept it a very tight, almost monochrome look. All the colours very washed out and faded, as if this was once a beautiful place but has really seen better days and is now seen through layers and layers of dust. But then it gives us somewhere to go to, so that when the seasons and the magic comes, then enormous colour will come through video, light and costume. We've built these gold flowers that the props department at the Opera House have done an amazing job on. And I literally went into meadows and collected flowers and pressed them and then gilded them. They're a framing device really, so that both the Act 2 and the finale, the action is kind of held by this sort of meadow of gilded flowers. Everything, I think, in the piece is looking back, but also looking forward, hopefully. It looks at the history, but also hopefully twists it and turns it into something contemporary feeling.